So it's been almost 24 hours since the kickoff against Duke last night, and I've had plenty of time to gather my thoughts on that debacle of a game. Honestly, it might have been one of the worst losses I've experienced as a Clemson fan. I'm 32 years old. I've been a Clemson fan my entire life, and I really can't think of a game that went nearly as bad as that game did. That seriously might have been the worst loss I've ever experienced. I'm probably not going to say anything that you haven't really heard. Social media and the message boards have been criticizing the program since honestly the opening drive of that game last night. But I did want to give my thoughts on what I saw. And I'm really just going to talk about the offense because, truth be told, I thought the defense did fine. I mean, Riley Leonard is an NFL quarterback. He can make plays with his legs, and he killed us in a lot of ways last night. And Duke's got pretty good skilled players. They got a veteran offensive line. We didn't dominate like obviously we would have expected or had hoped. Outside of a few busts, in the secondary and linebacker, our ability to get Riley Leonard down was a little concerning as well. But I thought the defense played fine, certainly played well enough for us to win. Again, I think credit to Duke. I think they're actually better on offense than a lot of people thought they were. So I'm just going to focus everything on the offense with this video, and I'm going to start with Cade, obviously. And the simple fact is he wasn't good. He was actually pretty bad. He obviously has extreme talent. I think we can all see that. He was the #1 overall quarterback coming out of high school for a reason, and at times he demonstrates that. He made some pretty great throws last night. I can remember a sideline throw to Tyler Brown where he really put it on the money. He can flash his talent. We saw it against North Carolina last year. The kid's talented. It's obvious, but something just isn't right with him. He's probably way too emotional for quarterback. Before the game, he's going crazy. Everyone says he's amped up. He's really spazzy and erratic, and that's how he plays the game. Right? He clearly loves football almost way too much. Like he's super amped up before these games, and then when he gets out on the field, he's airmailing throws early in the game in the first quarter. That's a sign of him just being an emotionally immature player, and he really needs to calm down his nerves. It's just football. Like it's just a game. Just go out there and play. Watching last year, I think one of his biggest weaknesses was his pocket awareness. It was really bad, especially in the Tennessee game, and it doesn't look like it's gotten any better. His happy feet, he's erratic. He's so bad in the pocket. That's just not improving, and I don't know if that even can improve. Maybe with more experience, but he's had plenty of experience. I mean, he started every game as a high schooler. This is his second year in college. He played in 10 games last year. How much more experience do you really need to learn how to settle down in a pocket? I mean, it's not that difficult. And so, I don't want to go too crazy. It's just one game, but I do feel like we've missed on another 5-star quarterback. He's not smooth. A lot of quarterbacks just make it look easy. Trevor, Deshaun, even look at the other 5-star quarterbacks in college football right now. They're just very smooth. And Cade isn't. Like he feels tight and robotic. He presses way too much when it's unnecessary. I don't know. It's just one game this year, but it definitely feels like we missed on another 5-star QB, like we did with DJ, even like we did with Hunter Johnson. It's happened before. It feels like Cade's another miss. Shipley and Maffa, obviously, that's got to be our offense moving forward. I would even suggest multiple tight end sets, multiple running back sets. That seemed to be working. Our offense line actually had a push last night. I was pretty impressed with that. We're going to have to rely on the running game. The passing game is just not going to be there because going to our wide receivers, they're still awful. For a third straight year, our wide receivers are terrible. And our fan base should actually be really, really mad about this because we've clearly been misled on what our receivers are going to be this year. We'll start with Antonio Williams because he's the only one that can play. But that's about it. And he's at his faults, right? He doesn't have game-breaking speed like you would hope for someone of his size. He does have ability, and he's clearly by far our best wide receiver. But our best wide receiver is someone who's probably going to be a day 3 NFL draft pick. That's just not good. Dabo suggested that Bo Collins could emerge as the alpha for us this year, but there's just no way that's going to happen. He doesn't have speed like Sammy Watkins. He doesn't have the size and strength like a Mike Williams. He certainly doesn't have the ball skills or route running of Nuke Hopkins. He's just an okay wide receiver. That's really what he is. He's an okay wide receiver. He's probably a guy that makes his way onto a practice squad, in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to get drafted. I don't think he's going to get drafted. But he's a practice squad NFL guy. After those two, it falls off bad. Dabo has hyped up Adam Randall since this kid has arrived on campus, and there's just nothing there. I haven't seen any potential out of him. I just don't know what the coaches are saying. Dabo did the same thing with Ngata last year. Or not last year. Dabo did the same thing with Ngata when he got on campus as well. I can remember an interview where Dabo said Ngata could be the best wide receiver Clemson's ever had. Well, obviously that wasn't true. He wasn't very good at Clemson, and he just got cut by the Philadelphia Eagles. It feels like that's going to be Randall's fate. Dabo is hyping this kid up way too much, but he just doesn't appear to be that good. So I don't know what's going on, but there are plenty of examples of Dabo hyping up players, and they just spectacularly fail to live up to his expectations. And that just seems like what Adam Randall's going to do. I don't see what Dabo sees. Maybe he's exceptional in practice, but he has shown us absolutely nothing in games to warrant that type of expectation. And then there's Cole Turner. Dabo really, really likes Cole Turner. Tells us he's going to be a really, really good player. He is fast. He's got great hands. He's going to eventually turn into this spectacular wide receiver. And to be fair, he definitely flashed at the end of last year. North Carolina game, Tennessee game, had a huge catch. He did flash. But it's obvious that he's not ready for Power 5 college football yet. This is just his fourth year playing football. He started playing football as a junior in high school, and now he's starting for Clemson. I mean, those are our top 4 wide receivers, right? Antonio Williams is probably the only guy, like I said, that's going to get drafted. I mean, this room is just truly, truly terrible. One guy that's going to get drafted, Bo Collins probably is a practice squad guy. I don't think Randall and Cole even come close to seeing an NFL field. They don't look good at all. And those are the top 4 wide receivers. It's not unrealistic to say Clemson has one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the entire ACC, which is probably the worst Power 5 conference in college football this year. I don't know how this happened. Recruiting, development, probably a combination of both. But this wide receiver room is terrible, and has been terrible for 3 years. Which led me to believe that Jake Brenningstool would be a huge factor in this offense, but where was he last night? He was hyped up as well, that he's going to be this big-time star for us this year. But how many times have we even targeted him? Once, maybe twice. He's a mismatch nightmare. We all know this. He's like 6'7", 230. He can really run, stretch the field, good ball skills. He's got everything to be an elite receiving tight end. We got to find a way to utilize that skill set. We cannot waste this kid's talent. He is way too good. Way too good. And our receivers are just bad. We need to rely on Brenningstool way more than what we do. There's no reason he shouldn't get 10 targets a game. Look at Brock Bowers at Georgia. They've got more talent than we do at wide receiver. And yet they may make it a point to target him. He is the focal point in Georgia's offense. Brenningstool has to be that for our passing game. Going to the offense line, I thought offense line played fine. I actually am going to give offense line a lot of credit. I played offense line in high school, so I have a soft spot for them. They certainly played well in the second half. The running game definitely took off in the second half. I don't think this unit is going to be exceptional, but we've certainly had worse offense lines in the past. It's fine. I like to see who'll settle in at left tackle. I thought Tristan Lee and Colin Sadler both did fine last night. I am worried, obviously, Jared Verse from Florida State's coming in a few weeks. I'm worried about that game, obviously, but overall I thought the offense line played pretty well. I just really thought the hire of Garrett Riley was going to change life for this offense, like we all did. But I saw a lot of the same schemes, a lot of the same plays that we've seen the previous several seasons, honestly. It feels like Clemson's offense has not changed in a decade. Dabo said that Garrett Riley is bringing this air raid offense, but really he's just he's going to join the Clemson offense, and it certainly feels that way. There are rumors that Dabo has his hands in the offense. That would obviously be a catastrophic mistake. Riley is one of the more brilliant minds in college football, and if Dabo is indeed handcuffing him, that's a serious problem. Like, take a step back, Dabo. You're not that guy. But I actually don't really buy that argument. Because from what I watched, it's clear that the coaches don't trust Cade or the wide receivers. Every fan, every media person has been asking where the vertical passing game was. And I've seen charts on Twitter that said most of our passes were at or behind the line of scrimmage. We threw very few balls beyond 10 yards. I get it. Where's the vertical passing game? That's what Garrett Riley is sort of known for, but I don't know what he's supposed to do when our wide receivers and quarterback aren't very good. I mean, we did have some vertical passing threats. I can remember, we send Cole Turner on a deep post, and he's supposed to be one of the fastest wide receivers on our team, if not one of the fastest players on our team, and he's just blanketed by this 6'4" corner. Right? It's hard to push the ball vertically when none of your wide receivers can create any separation. And on top of that, Cade, like I said earlier, is terrible in the pocket. So if you're going to run a vertical passing game, understand you need time for those routes to develop. But Cade is uncomfortable in the pocket. You need time in the pocket for those routes to develop. So again, uncomfortable in the pocket, you need time in the pocket. That's not going to work. He was very inconsistent last night. We saw that early. He was missing several easy throws. You think he's going to make the more difficult ones? Probably not. He almost threw a pick on the very first series because it was just way overthrow Jake Brennischool across the middle. On top of that, you don't have any wide receivers that can consistently create separation from DBs. So put yourself into Riley's perspective. I got a quarterback who's not consistently accurate right now. I got a quarterback who has happy feet and terrible pocket awareness, and I don't really have any wide receivers that can create separation vertically. What are you supposed to do? Like, if I'm just going to have a downfield passing game, I'm just going to throw more interceptions and get sacked more and more. I mean, we can't push the ball downfield because at the end of the day, our quarterback isn't very good and our receivers are really, really bad. That's what it looks like right now and moving forward for the rest of the year. This is just going to be our fate. Our offense will not change much from the passing perspective because we just don't have the pieces for it. At the end of the day, you have to structure your offense around what your players can do. Cade cannot sit in the pocket for very long because he's not good at it. Our wide receivers can't be asked to go beat people vertically. They can't create separation. They're not good at that. You're just going to be asking a kid who has happy feet in the pocket to make downfield throws to wide receivers who can't create separation from DBs. We're just going to have a lot of interceptions and sacks. That's it. That's our fate this year as a passing offense. That's not Garrett Riley's fault. That's the players. The players just aren't very good. They're not being developed properly enough. Now, moving forward, this is what I want to see. Obviously, we need more heavy packages on the running game. 2 tight end sets, 2 running back sets. The 2 running back sets were actually pretty effective last night. Shipley and Monfort are going to have to carry this team. Going to have to carry this offense in particular. I wouldn't even really run many read options because Cade doesn't feel comfortable doing those either, evidenced by his fumble in the red zone. So I would think straight handoffs to our running back, let the offensive line eat, control the clock, keep our defense fresh and off the field. That's what we have to do moving forward in the running game. In the passing game, I want to see more Tyler Brown at wide receiver. In fact, I think we should insert him into the starting lineup alongside Antonio and Bo. Antonio is our best receiver, obviously, and he can create some separation because he's a good route runner. I wish he had more speed than what he does, but his route running ability can create separation. Tyler has speed. Tyler's speed can create separation, and we saw that on a corner route on the sideline down towards the red zone. He can create separation with his speed, and I think those 3 have to be our wide receivers moving forward. Bo is, again, just an average okay wide receiver. Antonio's pretty good, and Tyler Brown's got speed. That's a big difference maker for us. Adam Randall and Cole Turner, I don't know. I don't think they need to touch the field. They're to me, they're a lot like Brennan Spector. They are non-factors. They offer us absolutely nothing. So I'm going to make more content moving forward about this Clemson program as a whole. There's a lot to say about what led up to last night. We didn't play poorly and get blown out by Georgia and Alabama. We played poorly and got blown out by Duke. And granted, I think Duke's a good football team, but they're not Georgia, they're not Alabama, and that shouldn't happen to us. We have way more talent than Duke. Losing 28-7 to that team is totally inexcusable. But it also kind of makes sense if you've been paying attention to what's happened with this program for the last couple of years. But that's for another video that I'll make later in the week. Do me a favor on this one, like and comment on this video, give me your thoughts on the game. Also, subscribe to the channel. I would really like it to grow, get to 1,000 subscribers, and you can also monetize with ads. So please hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Go Tigers.